We're at Portimao in Portugal. It's the opening round of the Moto3 Junior World Championship for 2015. Fabio Quartararo may have moved on to the World Championship, and he really is doing great things over there, battling against some familiar faces in the World Championship. He's won the last 2 titles here in the FIM CEV Repsol, but now it really is anyone's bet. There's some real talents in the field for 2015. A huge grid as well of 29 riders for this opening race of the season. We cannot wait to get underway. We're at the Autodromo at the Algarve. It's just outside the very popular holiday resort of Albufeira. It's a superb circuit, 4.5 kilometers, 2.8 miles in length, clockwise configuration, but so many elevation changes which really do add to the drama and the excitement of the racing. They're able to follow each other so closely. Gregory Haynes with you. Luke Wilkins, who's the English editor for MotoGP.com, is alongside me in the commentary box. Where do we start? There are so many talking points. We've had 2 amazing races for Moto2 and Superbike, but now we haven't even had a Moto3 Junior World Championship race yet.
We haven't even had a chance to catch our breath, as you say, from the Moto2, an incredibly exhilarating finish to the Superbike race. And now is where we think a lot of the very big excitement is going to come from for today, because these are really the best young, talented riders from around the world. You've got guys coming over from the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. You've got people from all different countries, from Australia, France. We mentioned obviously Italy, clearly a lot of Spanish. There's 11 Spanish in this. The Dutchman Ben Schneider is going to be starting from the front row. I think this is going to be carnage, and I think in the best possible way. These guys are just young, they have no fear, they're going to want to overtake at every opportunity, and I think they're all battling it out, obviously, to make the step up into the Moto3 World Championship.
They most certainly are, and in a minute we'll run you through some of the previous champions here in the CEV. It used to be 125, of course, then it became Moto3 in 2012. Just a bit of clarification then, if you're just tuning in for the first time today, on what the CEV actually is. It's the FIM CEV Repsol. It is not the Spanish Championship. It used to be, and it's still often referred to as the Spanish Championship, but it's not anymore. It's very much a European-based series. Now, of course, the Junior World Championship for Moto3. It is true that most of the races still take place in Spain because of the background of the series, but it's already expanding. There's the race here in Portugal. Next time out will be at Le Mans. The Moto3 class will have a single race there alongside the MotoGP race, and the same point system as the World Championship. So 25, 20, 16 and so on, down to 1 point for 15th place. And also just to point out, the regulations and technical specifications of these bikes are exactly the same as the World Championship to make, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, to make it as an easier progression as possible for the rider from the CEV to the Moto3 World Championship, if that's where they want to go. And also, a lot of the big teams in the World Championship are involved in this competition, not only to help develop the chassis, the engines, but also, as I say, to bring through the next crop of riders. So you'll see, like you have in Moto3, you've got the Leglise Academy, part of the Husqvarna Factory Leglise team. You have the Ongetta Junior team, Ongetta Rivercold in the World Championship. You have the Leopard Kame team. You have Leopard Racing, obviously, with Danny Kent, Hiroki Ono, who used to last year compete in the CEV as well. I think he came, was it 3rd overall, Ono? And you see Aspar team Mahindra. You've got the junior team Estrella Galizia, obviously, who's Fabio Quartararo is now competing for as the full, not junior team in the Moto3 World Championship, and many, many more. So this is going to be, I think, pretty impressive and pretty spectacular. A lot of these riders obviously debuting the championship this year, while a lot are coming back. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just looking through the results from the single Moto3 race here from last time out, last time we were here, which was the penultimate meeting of the 2014 season, only 5 point scorers from that race are actually racing here again today. That's just running them through: Belega, Ben Schneider, Pizzoli, Canet and Norridin. And we'll mention Norridin very soon, because that's the Asia Talent Cup team, the Asia Talent team as it's actually known. 3 riders who've really been doing great stuff last year and this year in 2 cases in the Shell Advance Asia Talent Cup. Let's start with the weather. I think we've got to start with the weather. The sun is beating down. I'm really pleased to see there are a really good amount of fans in the grandstand. Now, at the back of the picture there, you're seeing obviously empty stands, but the main grandstand, it really does, it's deceptive. It's such a massive grandstand. It can seat 17,000 people. Obviously, it's not going to be full for a smaller event like this, but there's a great number of fans coming. And I was worried, I have to say, coming into the track today, because we'd had a heavy rain shower overnight. I thought, oh, this might put people off coming in, but that's not the case.
And just in case you're wondering if that is Juan Mir, the pole sitter, whether he's actually experiencing any problems, they're not. There is a rule in this class where the riders have to turn off their engine at the back of the grid and be pushed into position to stop any instance where they might knock into each other. So don't worry, he's not had an engine failure. They'll start the bike on the actual grid when he's there with a proper engine starter. As we saw with Fanati's incident the other day in Moto3, it's quite hard, as I tried to find out, it's to bump stop one of these, but they have to push the bike to the actual starting position, and then they'll sort it all out and start it from there. So don't panic. 1 minute on pole there for, as we mentioned, the Mikado Leopard Kame team.
Yep, that's the team that's doing such great stuff at the moment, with Danny Kent in particular over in the World Championship. Joan Mir then from Palma de Mallorca, 17 years of age. And if you watched the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup last year, you'll know him very well. Finished second overall there to Jorge Martin, who's another one who's now in the World Championship. 3 wins in the Rookies last year, the Rookies Cup for Mir, Jerez, Brno and Aragon. Of course, Rookies Cup doesn't race here at Portimao because the MotoGP World Championship doesn't come here. That's one difference. Rookies Cup only races on MotoGP weekends, whereas CEV is a little bit different. And this is a man we need to watch out for as well, a member of the VR46 Rider Academy. Yeah,
Nicolo Balega, 15-year-old Italian member, as you mentioned, the VR46 Rider Academy, obviously set up by Valentino Rossi to ensure the best crop of Italian talent coming through. He raced in the championship last year, was 6th overall, is that correct? On the KTM Team Calvo bike, managed to get 95 points. And you know what, I think he's looked very impressive throughout the weekend, and could be, as you say, a man to watch.
Well, we saw David Clares, who's one of our colleagues here, who's doing photographs down on the grid when we arrived on Friday, and he was actually taking photos of Balega at the time, wasn't he? He just looked very confident, didn't he, the way he was standing there posing with the bike. So that's Mir, Balega 1 and 2. Bo Bensneider here, and a bit of a message there to keep fighting, of course. It's nice to see that message, of course. But Bo Bensneider, 3rd on the grid. Went well here last year. He didn't even qualify in the top 12, but fought through to 6th position, and he's the member of the Rider Academy over in the Netherlands. It's the KNMV Talent Selection Program. It's headed up by Barry Veneman, who actually joined me here in the commentary box for this Portimao CEV round last year. And again, Luke, Bo Bensneider, another hot shot from Red Bull Rookies.
Very much so, and he's racing for the Dutch racing team here today, and I think, as you said, he could be one to watch. And then as you move on to the second row, we come to Albert Arenas, a Spaniard from the L'Église Academy, which is part of the Husqvarna factory L'Église team, riding on a KTM today, on Dunlops. And I think, again, you know, he looked very, very quick from qualifying. He was only, what, 8/10 back from Juan Mir. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of riders competing at the front, especially, as you said, practice and qualifying happened in completely different conditions to this.
Obviously, just mentioned Dunlops, just to quickly go back over that again in case you're just switching on. Luke, practically here, the same Dunlop tyres you'd find over in the World Championship for Moto3.
Pretty much identical, and as you say, everything, they try to make it that everything in this championship, and same with the Moto2 European Championship, same with the Moto, obviously 3 Junior World Championship, is identical to the World Championship. So that as a rider, when you make the step up, and as you talked about Jessica Raffin earlier in Moto2, obviously winner of the Moto2 CEV Repsol Championship last year, he struggled this season because he's having to adjust to new tyres, he's having to adjust to so much more. If they don't have to think about that, it's a lot easier for a rider to get on and get racing. This
is Corrado Powie. He actually tops the warm-up session this morning, the 15-minute warm-up on the TSR Honda. He's starting in the middle of the second row of the grid, the 16-year-old from Malaysia. Watch out for him. Quite a few Malaysians, aren't there, at the moment, up and coming in the ranks. And just behind him will be the number 44. That's Aaron Canet, another one of the Spaniards in the field, completing that second row.
Another one of the strong young riders coming from Valencia, and he did take part last year in 3 races, didn't he, on one of the Hondas, finishing 23rd overall in the championship.
Yeah, which isn't too bad at all, is it, really, considering he only did 3 races. This is Canet then, and there's the rundown on the right-hand side. That graphic will obviously update as we go through the season. You see Lem there, L-E-M, Le Mans. It will only be Moto3 competing at Le Mans, just as they did in the CEV last year. A 1-race fixture there for them, alongside MotoGP. Not too long now, is it? If we just quickly run through the calendar to let you know, by the way, Le Mans will be the next round. It's on the 16th of May. Then we're off to Barcelona, Aragon, Albacete, Navarra, and 2 meetings within the space of 2 weeks at the end of the year. Jerez and Valencia will be the finale on the 15th of November, and some supporters there in the stand for Joan Mir. That's nice to see.
And there's Jaume Masia as well, which he is on the junior team Australia in Galicia 00, along with Sena Yamada, Japanese rider, also his teammate. And Jaume Masia is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the youngest rider in the tournament, just 14 from Valencia, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, the youngest by the matter of, I think it's about 5 months. Tony Arbolino is the second youngest. They're both 14 years of age. They're at the top of the entry list, aren't they, because they're numbers 4 and 5. But yeah, Masia, as you say, just outside Valencia, 14 years of age. What were you doing when you were 14?
I think I Do you know what? I was probably eating an everlasting, well, what was marketed as an everlasting gobstopper, and I don't know, probably doing my maths homework. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember that far back.
At least you were doing your homework. That's good.
Yeah, that may have been a lie. But yeah, and Martin van Haren here. Now, this guy is riding on an FTR KTM, FTR frame, isn't it, and chassis with a KTM engine for the KRP team, run by Martin Key, British team involved with the Racing Steps Foundation. And Martin does great work bringing through the best crop of young British riders. And we were talking to him the other day, weren't we, quite some length, about actually how many British riders have made it into the World Championship that haven't had some kind of contact with him. And it was very few. He even had a bike. I think one of the few riders that had him was Scott Redding, and he had a bike prepped for him to ride, but he never got round to it because he made the step up.
Yeah, Mark Keane's father, who we sadly lost about a month ago, worked with some other familiar names as well, didn't he, over the years? Keith Ewan, for example, a certain voice of
Roger Keane, an absolute legend. And they also work very closely with Roger Keys, who in the UK runs the Fab and Metric Racing Series, I believe. So they kind of almost single-handedly have been very determined to encourage young British riders to come through, and they've been in this championship now for, what, 13 years?
Absolutely, but they first came in actually in '95, and then, yeah, as you say, they went and then they came back again about 13 years ago. This, in the meantime, is the number 4, Tony Arbolino. Now, he's riding with the 658 Squadra Corsi team. That's the team set up and overseen by Paolo Simoncelli, father, of course, of the late, great Marco, who we so tragically lost back in 2011. Watch out, then, for Arbolino. He's starting very much up there, very much in contention, 9th on the grid. Here is the full grid, then. Tranmere straight across from Red Bull rookies into the CEV, heading the grid. Then it's Malega and Ben Snyder for Holland up there on row 1. Arenas, Howie, who was quickest in the warm-up this morning. Canet is 6th. Then it's Massier, Van Haren from Belgium, and Tony Arbolino, the second of the 2 Italians there inside the top 9.
4 Spanish riders inside the top 9 shows you the strength of what you have from the Spanish Championship. Lorenzo Petrarca, another Italian there, starting from 10th to the front of row 4. They have David Sanchez and Stefano Valtellini. Zenny Yamada, the Japanese rider, on row 5 with Davido Pezzoli and Lorenzo Dalla.
Interesting to see that the Asia Talent Team riders are completely locked together on the grid as well. Yuta Date 17th, Adam Norridin 18th, Kaito Toba, the reigning champion from the Asia Talent Cup, there he is, 19th on the grid. Aleix View, I was talking to him, the 14-year-old in the media centre this morning. He is hoping for rain. I'm not sure he's going to get it. And there's Simon Danilo as well. That's the brother of Jules Danilo, who's racing over in the World Championship with a massive grid, 29 riders. Good to see as well, Luke, that Nunez has been able to start special dispensation because he was outside the 110% in qualifying. But obviously they've looked race direction at his practice times and they've decided it would not be a danger to have him in the race. That's why he's lining up down there in 29th place.
Also starting from the head of row 9 is Lorik Crescent, the Belgian rider for RBA Racing, who recently filled in for Anna Carrasco in the Moto3 World Championship when she'd done her collarbone. So he's had experience riding at the top. He'll be disappointed to have come back and to be starting in 25th place.
So, stand by for drama. Just 5 seconds to go until the warm-up lap gets underway. It's the first race in the Moto3 Junior World Championship of 2015. I hope you're as excited as we are. We've been looking forward to this one in particular for a very long time now. It's had to wait a while, haven't we, for the CEV to get underway. It's now, what are we now? This is the 26th of April today. Unbelievable, we'll be into May. How quick this year is flying by, but we're now waiting for the warm-up lap to get underway. And then it's that run down to the first corner.
I'll tell you what, the guys are going on their warm-up. Let's just have a little look back over the years of the riders that have come through from the Moto3 or originally the 125 Spanish Championship to compete in the World Championship. And honestly, it reads like a Hall of Fame for MotoGP. Hector Barbara, Alvaro Bautista, Elijah Spargaro, Paul Espargaro, Stefan Bradl, Efren Vasquez currently competing with Danny Kent and Hiroki Ono in Moto3. Maverick Vinales in 2010, Alex Rins in 2011, Alex Marquez in 2012. I mean, you know, it goes on, and obviously, as you mentioned, Fabio Quartararo. So I think you can see why we're so excited about this. There's a very good chance. Right now, we're looking at 1 or 2 future world champions at such a young age. I mean, I wish I could go out on a Moto2 bike at 14 and do what they're doing, but as you say, it's not all fun and games. We popped down to the Asia Talent Team garage yesterday, and considering it's 3 14-year-olds who've travelled halfway around the world to come race here, you'd think they'd be a bit relaxed, but they were very focused, very serious, and it's professional racing now, even at that age, isn't it?
And 8 riders in the field were in this field last year, but just going through the top 4 from the championship from last year alone: Quartararo, Navarro, Ono, Gabriel Rodrigo, 1, 2, 3, 4, all names you'll be familiar with, I'm sure, from the Moto3 World Championship. What a selection of colours and bikes and riders and nationalities we have here in the field. As we say, there's 29 of them lining up on the grid. It'll be a 16-lap race then here for Moto3. Just under 75 kilometres, 45 miles of racing around this 4.5 kilometre, 2.8 mile Portimao track. It opened back in 2008. A little bit of Formula 1 testing, some car racing as well. Don't get the F1 testing here anymore. Of course, they're have been a little bit stricter in recent years, have Formula 1 with their testing programme, very much as is the case, of course, in MotoGP and World Superbike. What is Joan Mir going to do, though, from that pole position? First full season in the CEV, he's on pole. He's got Belega and Ben Snyder alongside, who are, you know, familiar faces, let's say. Bit of a challenge for Joan Mir, but I'm sure he's relishing it.
One of the biggest things we'll have to avoid is getting swallowed up at the first corner, especially the first time starting from pole in the championship. And I think, as you said there, Moto3 around this circuit, it's going to be very hard for someone to get in the front and, you know, break the rest of the field because of the slipstreaming down the long straight, because of the flowing corners. So I think we are going to see a very contested race. Just another name to put on the Celebrity All-Star CEV Repsol Moto3 kind of Hall of Fame is obviously Maria Herrera. She so close to winning the championship in 2013. Injury, as you said, stopped her really kind of challenging Fabio Quartararo last year. Again, some great performances. Took I think she took a race for Renault as well, didn't she, last year? And obviously having moved up into the Moto3 championship so far, best finish of 17 in Austin, but got a lot of pace on the bike, and so you can really see how this championship does bring through the talent.
Right then, stand by for drama. There's your pole sitter, Joan Mir, making his way through, weaving his way through, as he's had to do. Now pulls up into pole position for the start of the Moto3 Junior World Championship in 2015. Belega alongside him, there he is on the right hand side. This is Bo Ben Snyder, the Dutchman. So much promise. Won at Assen in the Red Bull Rookies last year. He's a very, very quick rider. Sponsored by, backed, I should say, by the 10 Kart team. Don't forget that's the team supporting the running the Hondas in the World Superbike Championship. Row 2 is Arenas Paui, who was quickest in the warm-up, and Aaron Canet. So many new riders in the field. Very late, actually, there to form up was Canet at the back of the second row. We're all ready for drama, though. Watch out for green flag at the back. Red flag removed from the front. As soon as that green flag crosses halfway across, which it does now, then watch the lights. The 2015 Moto3 Junior World Championship begins now. Very strong start from Mir. Strong start also from Belega from second on the grid. Not so good from Ben Snyder, who drops back from third on the grid. He's about fifth as they get down to the first corner. Are they all going to get through cleanly? Hold your breath. It's turn 1 at Portimao. It's all looking good so far, but a great start from the pole sitter.
And Belega just got absolutely stood up there, turn 1 on the inside as number, I think it's 52. Is that 101 that came in? I can't remember.
Let's have a look. They're certainly all clean through the first 2 corners, which is the main thing that we were expecting. Well, not expecting, that's a bit unfair of me. We were hoping there would not be a problem, but we wouldn't have been surprised if there was. Joan Mir with the advantage. Look at Nicolo Belega up the inside. Be very, very careful. Nicolo only holds that third place for the time being. They're all through the hairpin at turn 5. The rain has stayed away. That was another worry for today. And for now, it's all clean. Definitely, though, Mir is pulling away at the front of the race. Great start.
Giving a complete mockery to what we were saying about someone not being able to pull away at the front of a Moto3 field, taking a lead at Danny Kent, but yeah, Mir looking very comfortable on the bike straight away.
Ben Snyder has dropped back slightly on the orange bike from the front row of the grid. Look at them streaming their way up to the, down I should say, to the Craig Jones corner for the first time, and now there's real battle going on for second place. Belega's certainly very much in the mix there, and they are side by side as they get down to the left-hander at turn 12. Is he through? No, Belega still down there at the moment in that third position.
Belega, as you can see, conscious to not let Mir get too big a gap at the front if he really wants to make sure he gets through into second and start closing him down.
I have to say, very well done to everybody. They really are clean, aren't they, around this first lap, and very much stuck together. This is the difference we're going to see, I think, in the midfield in comparison with the Moto2 and the and the Superbike race we saw earlier on. It's very much bunched together, as you can see here in the battle for second place.
And that is Arenas, and as you can see, someone else coming through there to challenge Belega and Arenas, and he's taken third place.
Remarkable stuff. That is Arenas second. Canet is up there now. Canet is the rider who started 6th on the grid and was the last rider to actually form up on the starting grid. Almost banging fairings there, but Belega for now goes second. What's happened, of course, is that Mir has pulled away. Thank you very much and goodbye. 1.1 seconds in the lead, and there's the gap. But
Belega has got through to second, and immediately he's looking like he wants to hunt him down. But will Mir still be able to pull away from these guys now? It did seem, and this is no disrespect to Arenas, that he was holding them up slightly, was he not?
Yeah, I agree with you. Tony Arbolino, good start as well, by the way, still running in 6th place up to the hairpin for the second time. So it is Mir leading the way, then it is Belega in second place. These two battling over third. You've got Canet first of all, followed by Albert Arenas. Now battling very... Sorry, Arenas is second, it's Canet, and I'll get there in the end, Luke. Bulega is second,
yes.
then it's Arenas and Canet battling for third place. Apologies.
But these four at the front, well, if you don't take Mears lead into account, already starting to gap the rest of the field. Is it Ben Snyder back there in fifth? Yeah, he's starting to get left behind a little bit.
This is almost Danny Kent-esque, isn't it, from Tranmere? He's on the same livery bike, it's the same Leopard Racing outfit, and he's pulling away at the moment, but of course he's being helped by this three-way fight going on over second place. There's a gap then back to Ben Snyder, who's pushing, really pushing hard now. You can see it in his riding down there on the orange bike in fifth place. The Dutch Academy supported rider who started up there on the front row had a bad start in Ben Snyder, and he's now fifth in the race. Arbolino is still sixth, and we'll update you on the rest of them as they come through to finish the second lap, because there's all sorts of drama going on further back in the pack. But
it definitely looks like Bulega is closing that gap to Mir at the front, so maybe we don't have to throw the Moto3 rulebook out the window just yet, because it does look like Bulega will close him down slightly. That's visually though, I might be proving wrong by the tyre speeds.
It looked like a little bit of front-end chatter as well there for Mir as he made his way around the last corner. You're absolutely right, Luke. It's only half a second fastest up of the race so far to Bulega as they come through to complete the first flying lap. Arenas and Canet side by side in the battle for third.
Bulega took 8/10 out of Mir on that lap, so Mir's early pace obviously not that impressive as we thought, so it'd be very interesting to see what he can do on this lap now. Everyone else lapping pretty much in the 152s.
There's Arenas third on the Leglis bike. Canet is right behind him, number 44 on the junior team Australia Galicia bike. So it's Canet with the blue livery, the dark blue livery, but there's Bulega in second place. A seasoned campaigner in many ways in this championship now, even though he's only 15 years of age, would you be? But look how close they are to the hairpin. Ben Snyder is catching them as well. Ben Snyder is catching Canet in the battle for fourth.
Ben Snyder definitely settling into a rhythm. It was interesting there to see how much more stable Bulega's bike was under braking than Mir's, because obviously that's where he's making up a lot of the time. Mir's bike was moving all over the shop, while Bulega was able to kind of casually pick his spot and tip in.
Oh, we've lost Adam Norridin from the race apparently. It just flashed up on the timing screen. He's gone down at turn 11. That was the leading Malaysian rider in the Asia Talent Cup series last year. There were 6 Japanese riders who topped the standings. The Malaysian Norridin, who did actually race here and scored a point in the CEV race here last year in Moto3, but Norridin is out of the race. So first retirement of the season, that's a big shame. But
kind of gutted for him having come so far across. We saw how much work they were putting in, but that's racing, isn't it? And as you can see here, though, Arenas has just been taken by, is that Canet coming through on Arenas?
Yep, Canet is through. So the two Spaniards battling around there with each other for third place at the moment. So Australia Galicia moves ahead of the Eglis Academy bike for the time being. Honda versus KTM, and there's the two leaders at the front. Bulega now will be in a position to pass with his KTM right up behind Mir's Honda as they come through to start lap 4. Look at them, top of your picture. There's the leaders, they're side by side now.
In fact, Bulega's gone into the lead, crossing the line. Look at that, he takes the lead, pulling out the slipstream and puts a couple of bike lengths on Mir already. And once again, his times in that, he was half a second almost quicker than Mir. So I think Bulega might try and pull away here, but maybe Mir, now he's got someone to kind of look at and will actually just settle into a rhythm behind him, and these two could pull away quite drastically.
A strong season for Bulega last year. He was on the podium twice, once here in the Algarve, once the previous round at Navarra. Oh, it's tight, and Mir is right up behind him. This is only lap 4 of 16. We're nowhere near halfway through, and a bit of a moment there for Bulega coming out of the left-hander at turn 4. Oh, and another one down into 5. Look at the front end of Bulega's bike. It's incredible. Did he manage to get it stopped, or did Mir take advantage of a possible error there? Look at the top of the screen. Yeah, Mir is in front. Mir did get past Bulega, who made a mistake down at turn 5.
What's that commentator's casting? You say how stable his bike looked under braking. He just couldn't get it stopped, could he?
Right, here's the battle for third. This is Canet, who is the number 44. Started 6th on the grid, and as I mentioned, was slow to pull into his grid slot. Arenas is the number 11. He started 4th on the grid, and he's right up behind him. Ben Snyder is 1.3 seconds further back in 5th place. Jala Masia, great stuff for Masia, the 14-year-old, is 6th. And what's this coming through on the timing screen now? Rider 21 has been given a ride-through penalty for forming up in an incorrect grid position. That's a bit amateur, I'm afraid to say.
Vincente Perez on the Mercado Leprecame bike.
That's a 17-year-old from Valencia, so that's a bit of a shame. He was supposed to be 24th on the grid. He obviously didn't start 24th, Luke. I don't know whether that means anybody else was forced into a different starting position as well.
Yeah, that's Mir's teammate as well. So one rider leading, and unfortunately one rider having to take a ride for a penalty, which I think is going to be a rather severe penalty here with the length of the pit lane and the speed these guys going.
So Perez picks up the unenviable record of taking the first ride through in the CEV this year. And look at this, side by side, look at Mir right down the pit wall. That was intentional. That was absolutely intentional. He moves across, allows Belega through, and now he's going to follow him all the way down the start-finish straight.
That's exactly what I was saying the last time. I thought he would do if Belega hadn't made that mistake, is he's just going to settle in behind him, conserve his tyres, keep the pace, don't have to push things on. And yeah, these two obviously lapping a lot quicker than everyone else. Pretty much the only two riders in the 152s. 152.1s for both of them on the last lap, where Canet is doing a 153.0. So, you know, they are a class above the rest of the field at the moment, but it looks like, just like in the Superbike race, and you know, we are going to have a battle at the front that will come down maybe to the last lap. We're only on lap 5 though.
This is where Belega made the mistake down into the turn 5 hairpin here last time around. No such error this time. So Belega, as I say, 6th in the championship, twice a podium finisher last year. Mir started on pole position here today. Great start to the season for Joan Mir from Palma de Mallorca. 17 years of age versus 15 years of age for Belega. But Mir, I mean, let's not hide from the fact that Mir was right up there. He was challenging Jorge Martin for the Red Bull Rookies title last year and won 3 races. All sorts going on further back. We're watching the leaders and Belega again makes a mistake. This time it's up at turn 11 and Joan Mir picking up the pieces. Thank you very much again.
Once again though, I tell you what, it was a mistake, but that's not heavy braking error. You kind of wonder if he's just let through. These two might be playing a bit of mind games here, because he's not immediately trying to pass him back. He's almost quite happy to let him drop back. It'll be interesting to see if these are just letting each other pass to take the front, to see, as you say, literally analyse each other's where they're quick and where they're slow around the track.
They're certainly being sensible with each other, because they're allowing themselves to pull away from the rest of the field, aren't they? Because we've got Canet and Arenas who are battling for 3rd and 4th. They're 3 seconds behind these two at the front now. Let's see what Joan Mir does this time. A lap ago he moved across towards the pit wall side, clearly was allowing Belega to move ahead of him. Maybe this time he's going to sit in front of him, which he's doing. See what sort of toe Belega gets and what he might be able to do down at turn 1. But don't forget, for the last lap, the 16th and final lap in 10 laps time, the finish line is very, very early on down the start-finish straight.
Belega definitely have made a move there and decided not to on the inside. So I think you're right, they're both just wanting to not trip each other up too much to secure the win. 4 seconds they are now ahead of Canet in 3rd place. And I think we might see them just getting involved a bit more with 2 laps to go.
Look in the background, Luke. Bo Bensnader has absolutely caught Aaron Canet and Albert Arenas now in the battle for 3rd place. Remember, Bensnader made a really bad start. He'd love to be on the podium, though, to start the season. This is the leaders. Now, Mir is carrying a lot of speed into the left-hander at 5, but he's pulling away a little bit now from Belega. So let's see how they play this over the next few laps. It's Mir in the lead here from Belega. Canet is still 3rd from Arenas, but Bo Bensnader right behind them. Jaume Masia is 6th, then it's Arbolino. Paui, the Malaysian, has just dropped behind Arbolino, so they're 7th and 8th. Then it's Dalla Porta from Italy, and Valtellini is 10th. And
there is a great battle going on for 7th there between Arbolino, Paui, Dalla Porta and Valtellini, because they're all separated by less than 6/10 of a second. And that's heating up, as you say, for 7th position, where at the front it does look like Mir maybe is starting to pull away from Belega.
Definitely is for now.
Wow, that's a huge gap actually, considering how close they've been battling out for the last few laps. He's pulled that within half a lap.
Now, is this intentional stuff from Belega, or has there been a mistake made, or is Mir just putting the hammer down? It might be a little bit of all 3 factors, to be quite honest with you, but let's just see what happens over the next few laps. There was only 76 thousandths between them when they started this lap, because we know they're pretty much side by side as they cross the line. Visually, it looks as though Belega's pushing on a bit harder now. This is the battle going on just behind for 3rd position, and look at Bensnader, look at him.
Bensnader having caught Arenas and Canet, and actually he's looking to make a move on him straight away here, look. Dutch rider on the orange bike with the quite distinctive orange leathers as well for the Dutch racing team.
Here he comes then, right up behind Albert Arenas. There's the 2 leaders, and Belega has moved ahead of Joan Mir, so obviously they are just playing in the game. This is going to keep going on and on and on. We're coming up to the halfway point of this 16-lap race now. Well, you can come through first this time if you want to.
I think we should stop trying to predict who's doing what between these two, because it's obviously completely unpredictable. But the battle for 3rd place here now is really heating up. Bensnader having made up a lot of time to get on the back of Arenas' wheel, and I think he's going to start making a move on them, and that will be interesting, because these guys are dropping back consistently from the leaders. 5 seconds, that was the 2nd of the lap, so I don't think they're going to be too concerned with the race win, but that final step on the podium, and obviously the important 16 points.
Look at this fight further back as well. There's the message along the bottom of the screen. We mentioned that before. Vicente Perez, the 17-year-old Spaniard, formed up in the incorrect grid position. Bit of a rookie error there, so he'll be taking a ride through penalty very soon indeed. But look at this further back, Luke.
This is the battle for 7th we're talking about, with Masia now. They're on the Messi, apologies, I'm going mad. It is Massimo Dalla Porta, Parwi, Valtellini all getting involved, and in fact Arbolino has now kind of fallen back into the grass of this group as well.
Don't worry about going mad in a Moto3 race, by the way. It's always this crazy, isn't it? Particularly in the CEV. We have a hell of a fight going on at the moment, but what a great battle this is then. Halfway down the top 10, Ben Snyder now right up with those two in the battle for third and fourth and fifth positions further up the road, but this is the fight, the multiple fight going on. With Arbolino, Masia, Dalla Porta, Powi's in there as well.
Back to the front, Mir again appears to have gapped Balega, but as we know that could just be them showing around. The gap last time they crossed the line was 0.3 of a second. Let's see what it is now.
Balega's in the toe, it's going to be less than 0.3, it's 1/10. Now how are they going to play it this time? They're not going to get too excited because this is what we always see, isn't it? The Moto3 World Championship as well, this is the Junior World Championship. They'll keep exchanging positions, they'll size each other up and then they'll go for it on the last lap. Here's the battle going on, well, 3 abreast this time, and Ben Snyder for the first time hits a podium position since making that bad start. Arenas drops down to 4th place, and then you've got Canet in there in 5th position. This battle's going to rage and rage as well. The problem they have is that they're 7 seconds behind the 2 leaders.
Ben Snyder has done them both, which is incredible. He's moved up into 3rd place ahead of Arenas. Not quite sure what happened there, but he managed to take Canet and Arenas in one corner almost.
He did, it was a great toe, wasn't it? They went side by side, the 3 of them down the start finish straight, pulled out, dived up the inside, and there he is, up to 3rd then goes Ben Snyder. There's your battle at the front. It's still Balega from Mir, and as Luke said just a moment ago, that amazing fight going on further back. The 6th position is Arbolino, Valtellini, Masia, Dalla Porta and Powi all battling over 6th down to 10th places. Further back, by the way, Van Heersen is still 11th. Then it's Polanco. Senna Yamada, the 2-time Japanese champion, is running in 13th position at the moment from Lorenzo Petrarca, and David Sanchez is 15th.
Something's happened to Ben Snyder there because he's lost both positions that he had made up down the start-finish straight. This is going to be a battle, but as you say, it's interesting to see Arbolino having been sucked back into that battle. It was originally those guys fighting out for 7th. Arbolino seemed okay, but now he finds himself in the class of Valtellini, and I think we're seeing a 6-7 rider battle there for 6th position now.
Asia Talent Cup fans tuning in, by the way. We lost, I'm afraid, Adam Norridin very early on in the race, but the other 2 are still running. Kaito Toba is only 1 position away from the points, but 6 seconds further back. Toba, reigning champion, is 16th. And Yuta Data, who finished 2nd to him last year, but was carrying an injury earlier this season after a pre-season training accident in Catalonia. Data is 20th, so we'll keep you updated on what's going on further back in the pack. We are now past the half-race distance point, so we hit the 50% mark, and we are seeing the 2 leaders 8 seconds ahead, nearly 9 seconds ahead, and then this 3-way scrap.
3 wide, look at that. They're going to ease KTM, Ben Snyder on the Dutch racing team bike.
Well, for now he's ahead, Luke. For now he's ahead.
Sorry, I just stopped speaking there because I was like trying to work out who is actually where. That's just incredible. Ben Snyder once again has gone ahead of the Geese bike and the Junior Strela Glizia machine of Masia. So it's...
Don't forget as well, they've had some time to test, haven't they? Last week, before the CEV meetings this year, there'll be a test. They had a 2-day test, but there was a lot of rain, which certainly didn't help things here in Portugal. And obviously we're all getting familiar with the new liveries, the new colours and everything as well. It's Ben Snyder on the orange bike there, very easy to distinguish him. Then you've got the Leglice bike of Arenas, 2nd in the train, and then it's the Junior Strela Glizia bike of Canet in 3rd in the battle, but 5th in the race.
Canet's not Masia, that was, me getting confused, apologies.
Right.
I see the Strela Glizia bike and I get excited, but Ben Snyder leads then as they come down into the left-hand at turn 9.
Look at
going
the
up
line.
the hill.
Yeah, sorry Luke, look at the line, it's so distinctive. Ben Snyder goes defensive. These are your leaders. They've been battling like this all race long so far. They're nearly 9 seconds ahead of the group now in 3rd, 4th and 5th, which we're obviously keeping close tabs on as well. The TV director is doing a superb job, I have to say.
It really is actually, switching between the action is very hard to try and...
difficult.
Especially because these guys keep gapping each other and then closing the gap and overtaking each other. But it is a real battle of 1st place, and as you say, they're 8.5 seconds now ahead of Canet in 3rd.
This is the inaugural race in the Moto3 Junior World Championship for 2015. These 2 get the power on out of that last corner. They come shooting past our commentary box window now, and it is Joan Mir moving out to his right-hand side, just fractionally there behind Nicolo Balega. And look at the gap in the background. There they are. They finally decide to make an appearance. 9.2 seconds behind the leaders are Ben Snyder, Canet and Arenas. There they are.
And then further back, as you say, the battle for 6th place has been well and truly joined by all the guys from battling up to 7th. Arbolino in 6th, Valentellini in 7th, Dalla Porta has gone down a position into 8th, and Massi has moved up into 9th ahead of Powell in 10th.
We've got still 2 more races coming up later on as well. We've got another Moto2 encounter and then the second Superbike race as well. We won't get too much away, but we had some great action earlier on. This is the only Moto3 race though of the day here in Portugal, and then it's Le Mans, and then it's Barcelona, and we move through to Valencia at the end of the season on the 15th of November. Let's just regroup then, let's just take stock. We're on lap 10 of 16, first race of the season. Belega is leading Schwanmeer by just about a tenth of a second. They keep swapping places, that's going to go to the end, we're quite sure, and they're 9 seconds ahead of this 3-way battle for 3rd place. You've got Bo Bensnijder from the Netherlands in 3rd, just a week after the Dutch round of World Superbikes, in which Michael van der Mark absolutely shone last weekend with 2 fantastic results. I won't give it away too badly in case you're still looking to watch it back. But great result there last weekend. I was there, the crowd went mad. So good stuff at the moment for Holland in motorbike racing. Bensnijder is 3rd, then it's Canet and Arenas 4th and 5th. These are your leaders. Very, very interesting dynamics here. It's not just the actual battle on the track, it's the mind games, isn't it? And we have seen a few already.
And if I'm not mistaken, visually Arenas seemed to be just dropping off the back of Canet and Bensnijder when I last saw them. It was interesting, when they last crossed the line, they were separated, him and Canet, by less than 300 of a second. So we'll see as they complete lap 10 where they are now and how big the gap has become.
Over the line we go then, not too long to go in this race now, 93 thousandths between these two at the front. The gap just keeps increasing. It was 9.2 seconds back to 3rd place last time. Schwanmeer is just sitting here thinking, where am I stronger, where am I weaker? He's not, of course, going to show his front wheel to Belega every single time. He doesn't want to give him a clue as to where he might dive through, and to be quite honest with you, on this particular circuit, there's a number of places where you could come through with a Moto3 machine. He's going to have to try and spring a surprise somewhere though, and the problem is, but it's great for us, but the problem for me is that as soon as he's through, Belega will be able to attack again immediately.
Yeah, and because the finish line is quite close to the exit of turn 15 onto the start-finish straight, there's not a mad drag through, so it will be the person, I believe, that's leading out of the final corner that will take the win. So it's very important that they get themselves sorted, and on the last lap I think you will see them challenging and swapping positions a lot more. And I was kind of right there actually, Arenas dropped back 7 tenths on Canet on that lap, so it seems to be dropping back. I don't know if he's had any tyre issues or anything like that, but just losing touch in the battle for the final podium spot.
Quick update on what's going on further back. Adam Norridin was down on only the 2nd lap of the race. It looks as though Simon Danilo, that's the brother, the younger brother of Jules Danilo, was pulled into the pits with a problem. And Leif Bew has pulled in as well. That's a shame from the rider who's from Vilassar de Mar, just outside Barcelona. Was speaking to him in the media centre this morning. He was really hoping for rain to try and negate some of the differences, but he's pulled into the pits as well, and these two getting very close again at the front. Sorry, got a little bit excited there. Davide Pizzoli, by the way, number 73, that's the teammate to Arenas, and he is 22nd.
Just so you know, Vicente Perez, who got the ride for penalty, has been given a black flag because he ignored it. Obviously, maybe getting a bit too carried away in the racing, didn't see the black flag, didn't see the ride for penalty flag, and now he is disqualified from the race, been black flagged.
That's a bit of a nightmare to say at the very least. Here's the confirmation of that coming up along the bottom of the screen for you. 21, Perez, black flag, ignoring the ride through penalty. You've got 3 laps to be able to take it once the official notification's gone out. They hold a number across from the starting gantry. Perez still running around. He's actually involved in a battle at the moment with Max Kapler. They're in 18th and 19th positions. The black flag will be going out very soon indeed. I was also going to mention, by the way, the other junior team rider, Senna Yamada. I mentioned him before, the twice Japanese champion. He's 12th at the moment. Well, I say that, he's just dropped down to 14th, so he's just had a bad lap. And look at this going on further back. Incredible, that's the 21 in the battle. That's Vicente Perez. Now, there are 2 Perez's. Well, there he is, he's diving in, so we've seen the black flag. Let's see, does he think he's got a ride through, or has he clearly seen the black flag? This is not going to be a rather... Well, it's not going to be a comfortable reception when the team receives him. Is he going to... Oh dear, he knows full well what he's done.
Yeah, you can see as it's come through. I mean, that might be the frustration, thinking he's got a ride through, but as the team will back him into the garage, he'll realise that it's not quite as simple as that. Yeah, and as you can see, changing down through the gears, that's the end of his race.
Character building then for Perez, 17-year-old from just outside Valencia, black flagged for ignoring a ride through penalty. And the reason he had the ride through penalty is because he started in the wrong grid position. But that's what we've been talking about though, nurturing riders up and coming in the CEV. You learn from things like that.
Hugely. I mean, how nervous would you be lining up on the grid for your first race? You know, it's experience, and you're 14 years of age when you're going to do this. You know, they'll be feeling so much pressure that it's an easy thing to do, and he'll learn from this. I'm pretty sure he won't do that again.
I was going to give you a quick mention, by the way, of Tony Arbolino's teammates on the second one of the 6:58 box. That's Stefano Valtellini, the number 43 in the race. And he's still running as well, and he's up there in 7th place. Great stuff. Now then, what sort of dynamic, what sort of action are we going to see between these two at the front? They're coming up to lap one of the back markers. Hopefully he'll move out of the way. I believe that is Cristiano Carpi, because I think Nunez has retired as well now. He's the rider who actually didn't qualify but was given a special dispensation to start. So I believe it's the number 6, Cristiano Carpi. They're coming up to lap, the 18-year-old from Reggio Emilia in Italy. I'm sure the blue flags will obviously go out. He'll be waved out of the way, and these two will make their way through. Battle for third is still Canet, Ben Snyder and Arenas. It's anyone's third place. You could throw a blanket over them, to be honest. And then 4 seconds back to Arbolino. We haven't seen much of Arbolino, but he's done a really great job so far. He's running in 6th. It's a bit of a lonely 6th, Luke, but really solid start to the season for Arbolino.
He was really getting sucked into that battle for 7th with Valtellini, Della Porta, Vargas, Idampawi and Petrarca, but he's managed to gap the second now between himself and Valtellini. So, yeah, comfortable position there. Maybe he saw the guys behind him, got the message in his pit wall and just started to put the hammer down, but he is comfortable in 6th position.
Yeah, it's Tony Arbolino, the reigning Italian pre-Moto3 champion, now moves up then to the CEV, the Junior World Championship here as it is now known. CEV itself started back in 1998, of course, it was the 125s in this particular category at the time, and an initiative put together by Dorna Sports. A lot of people at Dorna are very proud, I think it's fair to say, and that's not boasting, that's just fair to say, because they have done a great job with... Oh, and Ben Snyder makes a mistake. That's exactly what he did not want to do. Surely any chance of a podium's gone now. At least he's rejoined. He will be 5th, but he's dropped behind. In fact, he's 6th. He's dropped down another one as well. Disaster. Yeah,
Arenas, who had dropped almost 2 seconds behind those guys there, coming through to steal the position as well. Now Ben Snyder's got a lot of work to do to make up the lost time, because it looks like Canet has disappeared off into the horizon to claim and make 3rd his own.
Yeah, you're right. I thought Ben Snyder had rejoined 6th. It is 5th because one of the bikes there was a back marker, but you're absolutely right, because Arenas here has dropped right back as well. What happened? They're all together. This is a replay of turn 5. Now we've cut later on in the lap. This is at the top here at turn 11. It looked as though he dived inside there, got it wrong, dived inside Canet, got it wrong, and out wide.
And now he is trying to make his move on Arenas. Arenas, I think, had just started to drop back. He was starting to lose pace, lapping about half a second slower than the others. And yeah, as you can see, a Ben Snyder should take him down into turn 1.
Here's the battle back at the front of the race, and 15 seconds in front of them. Only 3 laps to go now between Nico Belega and a possible victory. Or would it be Joan Mir who started from pole position? I wouldn't really want to say who my money's on, because he's down! Belega is down! Well, my money's not on Belega, that's for sure. Out of the race, or can he rejoin? Surely victory now then for Joan Mir, who will pull away into the distance. Can Belega get restarted?
Oh, it's a nightmare for Belega. It looks like he just lost it on the bump, actually, as you were saying, on the hairpin on turn 5. He was still braking, I think, as he hit the bump, and he just lost the front end, which is a nightmare for any rider to feel it go from you on a low side like that, especially when you're in the lead of the race. And it looks like now Mir is going to be unchallenged. 12 seconds in the lead to take the victory.
Incredibly, Belega's rejoined. He's still running 2nd, but Aaron Canet is now right behind him in the battle for 2nd place. So Canet has shaken off Arenas. Ben Snyder's made the error and dropped even further back, and all of a sudden Canet, who was running 5th a short time ago, could now be challenging Belega for this 2nd place. What a development.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if there's any damage to Belega's bike. It looks like there isn't, though. He seems to be riding okay. And so it looks like it will be able to recover. It could be unbelievable scenes, really, to be able to crash, be that far ahead, remount your bike and still get on in 2nd place.
Well, we knew, didn't we? We knew something was going to give there. They've been sizing each other up for a long time, and Mir sat patiently in 2nd place. I wonder, were those the mind games there from Joan Mir? Because we saw Belega run wide there early on in the race. Do you remember? Mir came through, and for most laps he has sat behind, I think intentionally, sat behind Belega down into the left-hander at turn 5. There's your gap. That is incredible. You are, believe it or not, watching a Moto3 race. It's nearly 12 seconds now, and Canet is right up behind Belega. Is the bike damaged, as Luke suggested it might be? It certainly scrapes along the ground on, I believe it's left-hand side. Hopefully we'll see a replay of that in a few moments. 2 laps to go. Joan Mir, surely victory is coming his way very shortly.
And how often are we getting used to seeing the light blue livery of the kind of Leopard Carme and the Mikado team here leading a Moto3 race by over 10 seconds? This is obviously Danny Kent at the Moto3 World Championship has set a precedent almost. It looks like Joan Mir, obviously, because Belega crashed though, will go on to take comfortable victory here, which is on the penultimate lap already.
Yeah, remarkable. 11.6 Belegger still second, then it's Canet. What's Ben Sneijder doing? He's still just ahead of Arenas. That battle's going to go right down to the wire as well. Arbolino 6th, Dada Porter is 7th for Italy. Then it's Arbolino's teammates, only 2 play positions behind. That's Stefano Valtellini. Jamba Macias had a great start to the season. He's 9th at the moment, having started 7th in the race, but a great start to the season nonetheless. Then it's Pauwi, the Malaysian, in 10th. Aaron Palanco is 11th. Sanchez Van Haren, the Dutch rider, we talked about him earlier. KRP team, exactly. And look, it's changed. It has changed. Canet has passed Belegger, taking advantage of the error we saw just 1 lap ago. And brilliant stuff. Aaron Canet, the number 44 on the Junior Estrella Galicia team bike, is up into 2nd place.
Now this is incredible because Belegger's actual best pace in the race is over a second quicker than Canet's fastest lap. So I don't know if there is damage to that bike from Belegger. It might be slight, might be a confidence thing. You know, he might just be a little bit wary. He didn't know why his bike went down into turn 5. So yeah, it's unusual to see, as you say, because someone who was lapping so much quicker to be losing a position like that.
Now don't panic, that was not Joan Mir in the gravel at the final corner. I had to pause for a second while you were talking there, Luke. I was just holding my breath because I saw a rider in the gravel being recovered by the others, but it must have been a back marker. It was certainly a blue bike. Joan Mir, though, is still very much in the lead with an 11.5 second advantage. On to the final lap. As you can see, Belegger drafts back ahead of Canet. This is going to go right down to the wire. Ben Sneijder is still ahead of Arenas in the battle for 4th. Just before the pass there, I was just running through the point scorers. It's Sanchez 14th, Sene Yamada has moved up into 13th, and Lorenzo Petrarca is 15th.
And look at Kaita Toba and Yuta Date there for the Asia Talent team. Both getting close to point scoring positions, although I think it'd be a little bit unrealistic to expect to be able to catch Petrarca. But Toba into 16th, and they sandwich Luke Preston, the RBO Racing Belgian rider.
Now then, this is the battle for 2nd. Canet versus Belegger. Belegger has the advantage at the moment. He'll be kicking himself, and it's so difficult to get back in the race. I mean, been challenging for the lead. At least he kept his head down. It could have all gone the other way. He could have stalled the bike, not been able to restart, and it managed to bump start it, didn't he? Remarkably. Rejoined the action, and he's now just got to focus on maintaining this 2nd position. We are on to the last lap. Joan Mir is nearly 12 seconds ahead of these two. Where can Canet pounce, though? He's found this motivation to catch Belegger now. You get the feeling he's going to maybe just sit in the slipstream, maybe have a go out of the last corner.
And obviously we saw Canet and Ben Sneijder run wide, but it's interesting that Ben Sneijder's managed to keep Arenas at bay after, you know, the incident where we thought that Arenas would actually kind of get back into the tail of him and maybe retake 4th place. But yeah, it looks like they're quite settled in the top 6 now, actually.
Does indeed. It's certainly settled here at the front. Joan Mir, 3 victories in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup last year. Pole position here today, and he comes through to win the first race of the 2015 Moto3 Junior World Championship. It is Joan Mir from Mallorca who will get that 2nd place. It's Canet versus Belegger. Canet has got ahead of him.
Canet's taken that by quite a distance in the end, hasn't he? Belegger will be gutted to have crashed out from the lead at turn 5 with only 2 laps to go. It was on the penultimate lap when it happened, wasn't it? But still, vital 16 championship points for Belegger going forward. That's not a bad result.
Ben Sneijder will be annoyed about the bad start, but at least he's fought back up into 4th place. Albert Arenas, very solid ride for him, is 5th. And it's Lorenzo Dalla Porta who passed Stefano Valtellini on the last lap for 6th place. Jamba Macia, Pauwi and Palanco complete the top 10, but that was ominous stuff, it must be said, from Joan Mir. I know Belegger made the mistake, but he forced him into that one, didn't he?
He really did. There was a lot of pressure from him, and obviously if you're lapping and you know that Mir is behind you as pole sitter, he's got probably the better outright 1 lap pace. And yeah, and look at that, Kaita Toba has managed to take a point for the Asia Talent team. That's a brilliant result for him, finishing in 15th.
And do you know why? Because Tony Arbolino had a problem. Perhaps that was the rider who was in trouble. I'm not sure, but perhaps that certainly had a problem anyway. What a shame. Tony Arbolino then drops back. That's why he was falling back behind Dalla Porta and co. Running 6th on the last lap. Tony Arbolino for the Marco Simoncelli 658 team has stopped or crashed. What a shame. More lack of luck again, because Arbolino had a similar problem in Valencia at the end of last season. The bike didn't get away from the start line. This time it's all gone pear-shaped at the end of the race. So bad news for Arbolino. He'll have to regroup and come back for Le Mans and hope for more there. Canet's great stuff. Number 44, the Estrella. Look at that, the fan club's here as well. Yes, it is. 2nd place for Aaron Canet, number 44. Just 15 years of age he is, from Valencia. One of the several riders from Valencia in the CEV this year. 3 races last year, still finished 23rd in the championship on the Honda, despite only taking part in 3 races. And Aaron Canet really making the most of the error there from Nicolo Belega on the penultimate lap when he was battling Joan Mir for the lead. And Canet finishes second. For the record then, it was a 10.4 second gap from Mir back to Canet in the end. Belega completing the top 3, then it's Bo Bensneider and Albert Arenas. We'll get the full rundown in a few minutes' time. Luke's now scampered off down to Parc Fermé to catch a word in English and Spanish with the Mallorcan winner, Joan Mir. And that is Nicolo Belega. He has, hasn't he? Oh no, I thought he'd missed the pit lane entrance for a moment. Sorry about that. I thought I'd just pause and wait. This is the moment though. Penultimate lap of the race. He was in the lead at the time. Hit the bump in the middle of turn 5. And quite clearly, I think that was a word it's better that we did not hear from the pit wall there. As Belega slides out of action. You have to say, though, all credit to him for keeping his head, getting back in the race, and he was still running second because it was such a huge gap back to Canet, who was third. And you have to say as well, well done to Aaron Canet for having pulled away from Bensneider and Arenas. Of course, they made their mistakes as well, but he was there ready to fight for that second place, and fight he most certainly did. So the Aaron Canet fan club seems to be out on the track. The Joan Mir fan club remaining in the grandstand. Brilliant stuff. Joan Mir wins then the first Moto3 Junior World Championship race. He's from Palma in Mallorca, 17 years old. Finished second in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup last year. Won in Jerez, won at Brno, won at Motorland. And now he's won here at Portimao. And don't forget, it's a brand new circuit for many of these riders as well. As I was saying early on, only, as I count down the list, 7 of the riders who competed in the series last year were riding here again today. So for many of them, they've had to learn the track with the test last week, which happened in the rain, and then the race meeting itself. So Joan Mir does it at Portimao. Canet moves ahead of Belega, who could challenge for victory, but dropped back on the penultimate lap with the low side at turn 5. Bensneider and Arenas, great battle going on there. And then you've got Dalla Porta in 6th place. Bartolini, Massia and Power. You have to feel for Tony Arbolino, who would have finished 6th but dropped back. And well done, Kaito Toba, reigning Asia Talent Cup champion, picks up a point at the start of the Junior World Championship season. Joan Mir, though, it is who leads the way, leads the championship, takes victory by 10.4 seconds, pushed Belega into a mistake. And he's about to catch up with Luke Wilkins down there in Parc Fermé. Shame for Aleix Bew, who retired. Simon Danilo pulled into the pits, and of course we saw the problems for Perez, who was black flagged for ignoring a ride through, which was given to him for fobbing up in the wrong place. Down to Luke.
So Joan, victory in the first ever Moto3 Junior World Championship race, and well, denied a battle with Belega at the end there. It's a shame.
Yes, it's a fantastic battle. I know that Belega and me can escape from the other group, and that it's for me this victory is perfect. It's the best way to begin the championship, and we will see in the next race in Le Mans. Bueno, ha sido una carrera muy divertida porque sabía que Belega y yo éramos los que teníamos más ritmo, y bueno, lástima que se haya caído, pero bueno, estoy muy contento porque esto es una de las mejores maneras, la mejor manera de empezar el campeonato, y bueno, ahora ya veremos, ya pensando en Le Mans.
Gracias.
De nada.
Yes, it was a shame that Belega made the error, but I don't think Joan Mir is going to be complaining. 25 Junior World Championship points for him. Let's look back then at this opening Moto3 Junior World Championship race of the 2015 season. Red lights went out, away they went. It was a bad start from the front row of the grid for Bo Bensneider on the orange bike. He dropped back into the clutches of those following. Superb getaway for Joan Mir from pole position to pull away from Nicolo Belega at this stage. Then a real battle started to emerge in the fight for third between the likes of Albert Arenas, and that was something we did not see during the race. Some debris there, somebody's bike disintegrating down the start-finish straight. Thankfully they cleared the debris, obviously. This was the battle going on further back. Then you had Arenas in the battle there as well, and these two were toying with each other, as we said at the time during the race. It was Belega versus Mir, and a huge moment there. We didn't see that early on either for the number 41 running out wide. What a recovery that was from Simon Danilo. I wonder whether he had the damage and then pulled into the pits. We know he retired after that. Well held. Mir versus Belega at the front of the field. They were sizing each other up, and this was the battle going on for third as Ben Snyder fought his way through, took advantage of some of the dramas going on. But we just knew it was a matter of time before something really dramatic was going to kick off at the front of the race. Practically every single corner they were together. This was the move further back. Canet at that point lost the position to Ben Snyder, then went on the attack, forced Ben Snyder into this off-track moment at turn 10, and then just moments later this man lost it at the front of the field. Down went Belega, somehow rejoined in second place, and was then passed by Canet as they crossed the line. But Joan Mir from pole position wins the first race of the Junior Moto3 World Championship in 2015. Canet goes ahead of Belega there by only 0.4 of a second to pick up a superb second place finish, and Belega picking up the pieces for third. Wow, goodness gracious me, we've been out of breath a few times today, and let's hope it happens again later on, because we've seen a heck of a battle here in Moto3. It is a shame Belega, and you can see Belega there with the long hair on the right hand side, clearly annoyed with himself. Nevertheless, it's still a great start to the season. When you put things into perspective, he's still on the podium. But there's Joan Mir from Mallorca, second in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup last year, just lost out to Jorge Martin, who in the end actually had a fairly comfortable advantage. Martin has now gone on to the Moto3 World Championship, and that's something Joan Mir will be hoping to do as well next year on the top step of the podium. There's Belega, bittersweet third place to put it mildly, and he's done the smart thing, thanking the team. He is a member of the VR46 Rider Academy, so knows Valentino Rossi. They actually trained together as well over at Rossi's ranch in Italy, just outside, well, in his hometown actually, of course, not far from the Misano track. There is Canet, who finishes second. Now there's going to be quite a cheer, I think, from the fans in the grandstand there, right opposite the commentary box window. Have a listen. The Joan Mir fan club are jumping up and down, I can tell you, as their man takes victory in the first Junior World Championship race. Luke's back, hello.
I actually just came across some of his fan club downstairs, and they were so happy and excited. Even the language barrier was there. I managed to get across congratulations. So a very happy team, very happy family, very happy fans, I think.
And they'll be even happier now as the Spanish national anthem plays out for the Mallorcan winners. Joan Mir, first winner of the season in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Well done, Joan Mir. 3 wins in the Rookies Cup last year. Does the, well, I'll get my words out. Great start to the season for him in the Junior World Championship here in Moto3.
You're going to say does the double already?
Yeah, I was actually. I was going to say does the double. And there then is what we talked about earlier. There's the lack of alcohol, of course, because they are underage, quite frankly. So we're seeing this sort of lemonade sprayed around. It's not quite as bubbly as the Freixenet.
Do you know what they should use? Silly string. That would be much better.
Right, suggestions on a postcard, please, to Dawn of Sports. Luke Wilkins has put across silly string. I don't know what else we might get there, but yeah, let's see. Or send it, in fact, send a tweet in to Motorcycle Luke or Gregory Hayes GP.
Yeah.
That'll be the easiest way to do that. But joking aside, Joan Mir, superb start to the season. 10.4 seconds ahead in the end. Look at Belega's face on the right hand side. He knows he threw that one away, but at least it wasn't a non-score. It was a very strong 16 points. And here is the confirmation of that. Mir, Canet, Belega obviously mirroring the results of this first race.
And it's a great start to get 25 points, you say, in the first round for Joan Mir. Aaron Canet on 20 points, and Belega, although he crashed out from the lead, recovering to take the third step of the podium with 16 points. Ben Schneider, terrible start, but got back to fourth with 13 points. Arenas at 11, and Dalla with 10 points. And as we mentioned, Kaita Toba from the Asian Talent team taking that final championship point in 15th. A real coup for them, I think.
Absolutely, Alberto Puig is here as well. The full setup's here. They're working with the same mechanics they worked with in the Asian Talent Cup last year. But as I say, what a shame for Tony Arbolino. I don't quite know what happened on the last lap. We saw some drama in the highlights. Great save from Simon Danilo. We saw some, I know you were running back upstairs at the time, but one bike seemed to be disintegrating with parts coming off down the start-finish straight, which we saw in the highlights package. But we don't know what happened to poor old Tony Arbolino. There's Adam Norridin at the bottom of the list there. He unfortunately was the first retirement of the season, and Aleix Piu pulled into the pit lane with some kind of issue as well. And Perez it was, Vicente Perez, who had the problem. He formed up in the wrong grid position, was given a ride-through penalty. Obviously didn't notice he'd been given the ride-through because he was so focused on the battle he was in, and for that reason was black flagged from the race.
I'm going to be honest with you, it's so easy to do when you're out on track. Not that I have many years' experience of racing at this level, but no, it is so easy to do. You're so focused, and obviously in amongst all of the action you're overtaking, you're worried about lines, braking points, references, exit points, apexes. It's easy not to notice a flag being waved at the side of the track, and again, it's not like it's a lot of yellow or red flags being waved. It's things different. So I can sympathise with him, but oh, terrible in your first race to be kind of black flag.
Great first race of the season then for the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Joan Mir leads the standings as the battle resumes at Le Mans in France on the MotoGP French Grand Prix weekend of the 14th, 15th and 16th of May. We're not over and done by any means yet here though at Portimao. Next up, the second race of the day for the Moto2 European Championship.